Since the death of Queen frontman Freddie Mercury, bassist John Deacon seems to have stepped back from the spotlight. Even during the release of the band's hugely successful biopic 2018's Bohemian Rhapsody, Deacon didn't venture out to talk to the press or walk the red carpet. Seems like he's dropped off the face of the earth. Today, we're going to explore whatever happened to Queen's former bassist. Deacon was born in 1951 in Leicester, England. He wouldn't be the original bassist for the band, as it was estimated he was the 8th person to audition for the band, and Deacon auditioned for and joined Queen in 1971. His quiet demeanor offered a stark contrast to the band members, with drummer Roger Taylor admitting, "We were so over the top, we thought that because he was quiet he would fit in with us without too much upheaval." Meanwhile, guitarist Brian May would add, "He's very solid and no nonsense. He's always got his feet firmly on the ground." It would be Freddie Mercury and John Deacon's opposite personalities that resulted in the frontman taking the bassist under his wing. Freddie also took a lot of the spotlight, something Deacon never wanted to deal with himself. Once Deacon joined the band, the classic lineup of Queen was solidified with Freddie Mercury on vocals, Brian May on guitar, and Roger Taylor on drums. Deacon contributed songwriting ideas to the group, including writing several of the group's big hits, including You're My Best Friend, Another One Bites the Dust, and I Wanna Break Free. He also co-wrote One Vision and Under Pressure, but it wasn't just songwriting he contributed to the group, as he was also good with electronics, being an electronic engineer. He created the Deaky amplifier, which allowed guitarist Brian May to replicate orchestral sounds on his guitar. Between his technical prowess and quiet demeanor, there was one other trait of Deacon which made him indispensable to his bandmates, and that was his business acumen. Queen signed their first major recording contract with Trident Management in 1972. Even as the band started to see a lot of success throughout the decade, they were earning next to nothing because the deal they signed was a bad one. Freddie Mercury was once quoted as saying, "We had best-selling albums, but we were still living in crummy basement flats on 50 pounds a week." Things turned sour with Trident Management when Deacon requested an advance to buy his first house, but was denied by the management company. The band soon got out of their contract in 1975, ahead of the group releasing A Night at the Opera, the same album which famously featured Bohemian Rhapsody. Deacon soon became the main financial and business advisor to the band, with Freddie recalling, "John Deacon kept a very close eye on all our business affairs. He knew everything that should and shouldn't be going on. If God had forsaken us, the rest of the group wouldn't do anything unless John said it was all right." Throughout the 70s and 80s, Queen would go on to dominate the musical landscape and influence countless bands who followed in their footsteps. By the early 80s, Queen began to record more frequently in Munich, Germany for several of their albums. It was during this time that Deacon became jaded with fame and soon took up smoking, and during the recording of the group's 1984 album The Works, he jetted off to Bali, Indonesia, needing a break. One could speculate that as far back as 1983, Deacon's plan one day was to leave the music industry altogether. He would write the song I Want to Break Free on the album, perhaps an insight into what he was feeling at the time. Guitarist Brian May would look back at the band's time in Munich, recalling in the early 80s, "We lost our minds. We were all in a perilous place where our emotions were out of control. It manifested itself in way too much drinking, a certain amount of drugs, which I didn't share, but certainly an awful lot of vodka went through my body. We all felt to bits. We overreacted with each other at times. We all left the band at some point. The studio's a hard place for a band anyway, but in our case, all 4 of us as writers had worldwide hits. The lifestyle we led magnified that conflict," he'd say. May would add about Deacon, "He could be very outgoing and very funny, but I think some of the stuff that happened in Munich gave him a lot of damage." By the middle of the 80s, Queen took a break as Freddie pursued a solo career, revealing in a rare interview from the 80s, "I went spare, really because we were doing so little. I got really bored and quite depressed because we had so much time on our hands." 1986 saw the band release the album A Kind of Magic and embark on their final tour with Mercury called the Magic Tour. By the late 80s, Freddie withdrew from the public spotlight as rumors circulated over his health as it came out that he was diagnosed as being HIV positive. In November of 1991, the band confirmed his passing from bronchial pneumonia brought about by his condition. Deacon, who was close with Freddie, was completely devastated by the news. Those close to him claim he suffered from depression for most of his life, and Freddie's death only made it worse. Following the frontman's death, Deacon was quoted as saying, "As far as we're concerned, this is it. There's no point in carrying on. It's impossible to replace Freddie." Following the frontman's death, Deacon would only make several more live appearances, including the 1992 Freddie Mercury tribute show for AIDS awareness, a charity gig the following year with Roger Taylor in Midhurst, and a performance in 1997 where the surviving members of Queen performed The Show Must Go On with Elton John. He would retire from playing live, but the same year he did join the surviving members of Queen in the studio as they cut the track No One But You, Only the Good Die Young, a tribute song to the departed frontman. It would be released on the Queen compilation record Queen Rocks. After 1997, Deacon became a recluse and rarely talked to the surviving members of Queen, with Roger Taylor recalling, "We're not in touch, but John's a sociopath really, and he's given his blessing to whatever Brian and I might do with the band. And we've done rather a lot." Meanwhile, May would be quoted as saying, "It's his choice, he doesn't contact us, John was quite delicate all along." In 1975, Deacon married his longtime wife Veronica Tetzlav, with whom he has 6 children with. He still resides in the same house he bought with his first big check from Queen in South London, and it's not just his former bandmates who have little to no contact with Deacon, as his neighbors rarely see him as well. There was a short-lived scandal which came about in 2002 when Deacon had been visiting a strip bar and struck up a friendship with a dancer named Emma Shelley, with whom he was photographed with in central London. Deacon and his wife used to be frequent patrons of a local pub near his home, but since it turned into a grocery store, he's been seen outside less often. Throughout the years, fans sometimes drop by his house, with the Daily Mail reporting that his wife will often tell curious fans that she, and I quote, "doesn't know where he is," or that he doesn't live there anymore. And despite his quiet life, Deacon is still involved in the business of the band and is reportedly worth over £100 million and is a quarter shareholder in the Queen organization. In 2001, Deacon refused to attend the band's induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, in addition to taking part in their tour with Paul Rodgers of Bad Company fame and Adam Lambert. It would come out in 2012, 6 years before the film Bohemian Rhapsody came out, that Deacon would not be involved with the movie or any future Queen music releases. Guitarist Brian May would tell Rolling Stone, "We kind of mourn for John as well as Freddie in a sense. I do know John's read the script and he's in approval, but he just doesn't want to be walking those roads. He's in his own space and we respect that. It's a shame because we would love to have him around, but he doesn't want to be in that arena anymore," he'd say. Over the past several years, photos of Deacon have appeared in numerous tabloids in the UK, with him appearing almost unrecognizable. And some videos have also appeared on YouTube showing Deacon talking to fans, taking photos, and signing autographs. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like button and subscribe, and we'll see you again on Rock and Roll True Stories. Take care.